Are you ready to increase your retention and revenue and convert website traffic to clients? Then you're ready for Maya. Maya is a marketing and client recruitment software. Maya creates better business relationships by pairing the right clients with the right beauty professionals. How do we do it? A matchmaker. Your brand will have its own unique matchmaking survey. By pairing people based on their skill set, budget, personality, and lifestyle preferences, Maya creates lasting relationships that keep both sides coming back for more. You don't get a second chance to make a first impression. Pair the right clients with the right beauty pros the first time. Visit joinmaya.com to get started.
Thank you for joining me. This is Kati Whitledge with the Beyond the Technique podcast. Today we're talking about 5 habits of successful owners. I hope that you enjoy this topic today. I think this has been so fun to put together, and I am going to be here to be the one to share these habits with you. So we think about what it takes to be a successful owner, the habits. Understand that success means different things to different people. So when I think about success, and maybe this is the same for you, I'm thinking about success in my personal life, personal being like my own health, well being, mindset, all of that. I think about the success of my family. Um, it's been cool. Recently, I'm reading this book called Lead Your Family Like Jesus. And if any of you know Ken Blanchard, he's the author of One Minute Manager. He's known in the business world. He also wrote that book. And it was cool to think through, how do we put a mission statement, vision statement, values in place, a purpose that we all agree to live by, putting that all together for your family. And that got me really fired up to be a leader in the same way for my family. So success is my personal well-being, mental health, all that, along with my family having financial freedom, having great community, having um, thriving businesses that are growth focused, always improving. So first, let's start there. Like, how do you define success? But here are 5 habits of successful owners. Number one habit is they have a morning ritual. So you don't have to be a part of the 5 a.m. club necessarily, and there are plenty of very, very successful people, very driven, high achievers that are part of the 5 a.m. club. And there's a good amount of my life that is. And sometimes with kids or schedules, I'm more of like a 6 a.m. club. And when I'm really living on the wild side, I sleep until 7 a.m. But I'm definitely a morning person. I don't know if that's the same for you. Not everybody is. So, regardless of when you get up, you have kind of that first start of the day routine. And for me, that looks like lemon water. Sometimes I throw a little apple cider vinegar into that. At some point in the day, I have apple cider vinegar in water with either lemon or lime. Um, it looks like movement, that moving the body. That could be yoga. It's breathing, simply moving your breath in and out, expanding your body and moving the breath from pelvic floor up through the chest, expanding through the front and the back. And now the yoga instructor in me is coming out. One of my morning habits is having a devotional, and I really try to live by Matthew 6:33, where it talks about seek first the kingdom of God, and then all these things will be given to you. So starting my day with that foundation is important to me, but I also habit stack that with reading time. One of my goals or objectives, I should say, for 2024 is to read through 12 books. And so far, I've read 10. So I have 2 to go, which is good timing. We're here in September. So I have 2 books to go, and certainly I can exceed the 12 book goal. But to achieve that, I've simply habit stacked my reading time. So right after my devotional, I read And some of you may have heard like, oh, read 10 pages a day. I don't really put a page count on it. If I'm into it and I have the time, I read through the end of the chapter. If I don't have the time and I can just read through one little segment, then that's enough. But it's the habit of reading a little bit every single day. Morning rituals also can include what I do is a gratitude journal. So I found that when I write down what I'm grateful for, what I'm thankful for, and I literally start every sentence, I'm thankful, and fill it in. And some days it could be as simple as I'm thankful to have my eyesight so that I can read or watch, or having my hearing to hear music and to. So sometimes it's like those little things that we forget uh, are really wonderful gifts that we have and to be grateful for. So, what does that morning ritual look like for you? You can craft it any way that you want, but having that consistent routine that jump starts your day. One thing I totally forgot is making my bed. And if you saw the bed, it's not this beautiful arrangement. Some people make their bed and it looks like it could be in a Pinterest, board. Mine, it does not look that way, but it looks put together enough where I feel this sense of I'm put together. I have it started. It's not in disarray, and there is something to be said about that. So it actually is one of the first things I do when I get up, along with opening up my windows to let some light in to start my day. Another habit number two of successful owners, they train. They train. And I am not just talking about the body, but that is one category. When we think about training the body, we probably think about working out. And I think that is so important. We often think that our largest organ is our skin. That is not true. Your largest organ is your skeletal muscle. And so much is riding on how healthy our muscle is. Do we even know? I've learned a lot from Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. She is an incredible speaker, teacher, podcaster, has tons of information on YouTube of how important it is to prioritize strength training. So, that is an area to train, of course. Um, Training the body does include other forms of movement. I think one of the most underrated ways to train the body is going out for a walk. I used to think that I was very active because I worked out, and this is in the past, like 3 times a week. Now it's probably over the top because it's more like six. But when I used to work out 3 days a week, I thought I was a very active person until when I hired a nutritionist and trainer, she had me try to get steps in. And before she told me how many steps to get in, she asked how many steps I was naturally getting in. So I bought this Fitbit watch and I started looking at my steps. And at the end of the day, I'd be like, okay, I'm at like 2,500 steps. And she's like, I hate to break this to you, but you are living a sedentary lifestyle. Now I average at least 8,000 steps. Typically I'm over 10,000, but it took a work. It like was crazy how hard that became. And now I can't imagine life without it. Just simply walking is life changing for your health, especially my mindset, my mental health, just having clarity. So other ways we train our body is sleep, prioritizing sleep. So imagine you are somebody who does get up at 6 a.m. What time do you consistently go to bed so that you for sure get that healthy amount of sleep? And everybody's different. Some people can thrive off of 6 hours. Some people need to thrive when they have 9 hours. Everybody's different. But prioritizing and making that a way that they train their body is so, so important. Another way that we train our body is what we put into the body. So this is food, this is beverages, this is supplements potentially, but it's not just important thinking about what to put in, but what do we not put in to the body. So some of you have heard that in 2022, I decided to quit and give up alcohol. I don't regret it. There is never a day I wake up and wish that I would have drank or that I truly missed out big time because I didn't drink. So you know what? It is just for me one of the greatest decisions I could have made. So I think it's important not just what we put in, but what we don't put in. Getting light, training the body to like absorb light. I think sometimes, and especially here in the Midwest with the weather, it sometimes is hard to actually get out and get sunlight. So, depending on where you live, you have to try to carve out that intentional way of feeding the body with sunlight. But it isn't just the body that we train, we're also training the brain gets trained by what we read, what we learn, what we watch, what we listen to, and the way we possibly journal or mastermind and share. But one of the areas we need to be focused on with this habit is just consistency. Are we intentional about training our brains, and in what ways are we doing it? So, setting something up that's easy, achievable, and that you can continue consistently is so, so important. And also training our behavior. So, when we think about the second habit of successful owners, is we train. How are we training our behavior? And that is maybe setting up boundaries, understanding how important boundaries are. And when we think about behavior, it's like the actual actions that you take in life. That's your behavior. So you have the right mindset, but then how does that live itself out in front of others and for others all day long? Um, Actions in the way we problem solve and the way we interact with others. There's just thinking about training. It's a combination of brain, body, and behavior. And the thing that kind of threads them all together is how consistent and self disciplined we can be in this habit. The third habit of successful owners, they serve. Successful owners have a habit of giving and serving to others, helping, whether that's serving in the way we coach our leaders, in the way that we give back to our community, in how we show up for our family, and in what ways we serve them. If you're in a season of young kids and you're trekking them to every event under the sun, you can appreciate just what it means to be a servant leader. And what's cool is knowing that your success is a byproduct of how you help others is why you are motivated to continue to serve and give and give and give. Now, okay, we still need boundaries around that, but it is so important to show up and serve, and successful owners get it and they live it out every single day in their own unique ways of serving. The fourth habit of successful owners is they take accountability and ownership. So they take ownership. So here's the thing, when things go well, they are really good about giving the right people credit. Hey, I want to shine a light on these leaders at our salon, or these people who weren't expected to shine in this certain way, and now they have, and we really want everybody to know about it. So when something great happens, successful owners give away the praise, which we talked about in last week's episode, looking for ways to praise. But when things don't go well, they always, always, always take ownership and accountability for that. We aren't hitting the mark on revenue. Look to themselves. How do I solve this? What do I need to do differently? How can I show up and be a better leader to help hold others accountable? Or what processes did we not have in place? What do I need to do to coach people maybe a little bit differently? Or I'm trying to think of an area. where something doesn't go the way you hoped it did. Have we all had that? And then we have to be the ones that step in and say, actually, this is on me because we've actually never talked about this before. We've never actually spelled out what our expectations are with this particular situation. And so it's not to say that you don't hold other people accountable when things don't go well, but it's always the mindset of a successful owner to say, what was my hand in this? When we think about somebody, for example, exiting our company, no longer on the team, and we could sit and easily say, well, they had all these issues. This happened for us, not to us. But also in the relationship dynamic, what did we do to contribute either to, some of our issue is that we fail to hold other people accountable. We so badly want other people to rely on us, to think highly of us, to think we're super loving and kind and always there to help, that when people do fall short, we sometimes struggle with holding them accountable. And that is an area that we need to be better at. So when it comes to being successful, it means everything is something you are willing to step and take ownership in. If you're having an issue in your marriage, with a family dynamic, with one of your kids, with a team member, you are 100% accountable in that relationship. And if you start thinking that way, everything will change. And it also gives you a new sense of graciousness in relationships. I'm often given grace, but am I giving grace to other people? Part of reading this book was thinking through how important it is not to flip out over spilled milk. I am guilty of being a parent who my kid will tip something over, make a huge mess, and I will like get so upset. What were you thinking? You need to be careful. Now look how much work I have to do to help you clean this up. Like, and then I realized when I'm reading this, like, if you flip out over the little things, they're not going to know what's actually important. And they need to know that it's okay to have accidents and that you are still cool with them. And also if you have a 5-year-old, let them be 5. They don't need to understand things from a 15-year-old perspective. So how do we translate this into our business? You can't expect new people on the floor to have a full grasp of everything that you understand after all of the years that you've been in the industry. So how do you meet them where you're at? And still their success is on you. Like if they don't get it, it's something you and I did not impart with them. We didn't give them the tools, the knowledge, the resources. We still have to look at ourselves first to identify how do we step up and make a change. And the fifth and final habit of successful owners, they have faith, they believe. Now, this isn't really a habit. This is more of like a foundational principle, is really believing. And what I mean is believing and having like faith and hope that what you have a vision for with your company and your team, that is possible. Some of you have known me for a long time and know that I've been on this journey to just live with peak performance, my physique, my health, weight loss. There once was a time that I weighed over 100 pounds more than I do now. And it isn't just this one big, when we think about what happened to where you just put on all this weight, and it's never one thing. People don't struggle with weight because of just one area or one habit or one thing in their life. And the same is true when you remove that weight and you step into having awesome athletic performance and a physique that you've always wanted. Like it's not just one thing. What'd you do? What's your secret? Well, how much time do you have? Because There was a lot of things that I did in this journey. And so when you think about being on a journey like that, for many people, they don't change because they don't even believe it's possible for them. And for years, I did not believe that it could happen for me. To put it into perspective, I was a size 13 in the sixth grade. And back when I was younger, not to totally age myself, but there weren't cute plus size stores. So I was shopping on the men's side of Gap because that's where I could find clothes that fit me. And I try to make it look cute. Luckily, there was like a skater girl theme back then. So like it kind of worked. But I really struggled for most of my adult life so far to even believe it was possible for me to change or be different than I am. Once I saw her, it was just this moment. I'm training, I'm following the steps. I'm done having babies. I'm listening to my trainer and my nutritionist. I'm doing everything they say. And I'll tell you what, I remember the day that I messaged my trainer and I said, I saw her. Oh, I don't want to get emotional, you guys. But I was doing deadlifts and I looked in the mirror and I had a moment where I could see her. I could see her underneath there. I could see her and I knew she was there. The girl I always pictured could come out someday. She was there and I saw her. And I'll tell you, everybody, it changed things. It made me believe that if I actually didn't give up, that it was possible. To this day, I'm in shock that I am a completely different size than I've ever been. I've never, in any point in my life, unless maybe I was like 7 years old, 6 years old, I don't even know. I've never been this fit, and I'm still going to keep it going because why not? Let's see what my truest potential is. The same mindset and faith and the way we need to believe is true for our businesses. Many owners will direct message, DM me or contact me and be like, I'm just feeling so discouraged. I'm feeling like it's harder and harder to persevere. I feel like I just tried my best and all this crap keeps happening. I want you to have faith. I want you to see the vision that you have for yourself, for your company. Have hope and faith that that is possible. If you can see it, it can happen. And then you just need to resolve to be still and persevere. They believe not only in the vision for their company, but they believe that change is always possible, that they can always personally change, they can grow, they can learn new things, they can get better, and they believe in others and they believe in other people's potential. What have you lost sight of that you need to have more faith and hope in? Let me recap the habits. They have successful owners have a habit of morning rituals. They train their brain, body, and behavior. They serve others and they take ownership and they believe. What stood out to you today? If I had to wrap this up with a little bow, I would come back to being disciplined, because it's not just the habits of what we show up and do every single day, it's what we choose not to do. Some of the most powerful decisions we can make every single day, every single year, is the things that we say no to. What does that look like for you as we enter into a new season, as we're nearing the last quarter of the year? Take a moment and think through that. What will be your morning ritual? What are going to be the ways you train your brain, body, and behavior? How will you show up and serve as the best version of yourself to help others? What areas of your life and business do you truly need to take more ownership in? And where are you lacking faith that you need the vision set before you to have hope in. Friends, I do not have this all figured out. This is a constant evolution. And I'm learning and growing right alongside you. But I hope that today's conversation will be an encouragement to your life and can just set the tone. If you love this, I would love it if you share it with your leadership team, with somebody you know that you care about. And if you want to take it one step further, you could leave us a positive review wherever you're listening so that more people like yourself will discover Beyond the Technique, where we are here to change the way that you are supported in your business. Until next time, have an awesome day and stay strong.